Hello there. Welcome to the e-book club. It feels like it's been ages with everything going on.
It does. The time seems to go by a little slower nowadays for some reason.
Yeah, for sure.
It really does.
So how are you guys going? Shall we start off with that?
We're going pretty good. At least I am.
That's good.
I've been doing nothing but reading all year almost. So I'm up to 20 books.
That's not true, Stig. That's not true. You have also been absolutely destroying everyone's favorite character online and received a lot of support for it, from what I heard.
Oh, I'm not sure if it's support. It's more the opposite. But yeah, most popular man on Twitter this week. Not. And it wasn't even intended.
That's funny. Oh yeah, welcome, Miss Martin, Teresa. I'll just still call you Teresa. CJH and Pell. Hi. So yeah.
Did somebody tell Mara that we're live?
Why?
Usually she's in here by now, isn't she?
I can shoot her a message. I shot her the time before.
God.
So
unfortunately, we have to. I think Lethal's already commented that Lethal is no longer going to be hosting the book club.
Lethal's got a lot of stuff going on with Gaming with Geeks and everything like that.
Oh yeah.
So
right.
I'll shoot links. I'll shoot links now.
See, see, he's trying to blame it on everybody else.
There we go.
Callum didn't even give the link to Mara.
I was like, well, do I give them all at once or do I send them later? But now I'll just do it all at once and then everyone can be in.
Right. But yeah, Lethal. Go. So, what do you know about that? He's just busy with gaming and geek stuff.
Well, to be fair, the book club itself doesn't take long, but he has to read the books as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a lot. It's a lot. I'm pretty busy myself. I'm only going to be here for about the first hour today, but I wanted to make sure we went ahead and did it. That's why I wanted to make sure you had it on your channel this week, Callum, just because I don't have a ton of time. But it's good to be here. Good to talk about a good book and all that stuff. So let me tweet out the stream actually.
Right.
That'd be good. Yeah, because definitely when people have limited time, it's difficult to keep up with reading and everything, but I guess during this time as well, some people have more time as well, so there's that. So that's just whatever you're doing.
I don't even see you as live in my feed, Callum.
That's weird.
YouTube's trying to censor you now.
Well,
they've been censoring Lethal.
People seem to have made their way into the chat anyway, though.
Yeah, people are in the chat.
Yeah,
but it's not showing up in my
YouTube trash. I'm thinking about doing this on Twitch at the same time as well. I didn't bother for this one, but we could do it on Twitch at the same time so other people can join on that end if it's easier.
Callum's channel always shows up as live on my YouTube, but Midnight's Edge After Dark doesn't, which is weird.
I blame YouTube. Okay, so what do we think of the book?
Yeah, start off with general thoughts.
All right, I'll start. So I always find this book is very unique, and one of the things where I felt a lot of people. There were some people that didn't like a little further on we got in the expanding universe, especially towards the end, how big and grand everything had to keep getting, right? Like how, it is always the next huge, like the huge thing they had to do with the Yuzong Vong War. And then you have this family drama. And then you have Abeloth, like the biggest possible baddie you could find, right? But this book, Kenobi, is not that at all. It's a very small story. Now, it has very huge implications because of what Obi-Wan Kenobi's job is. His job is to protect Luke and watch over Luke. But during it, like the little town that he's in and kind of gets roped into helping. It's not important. Like, these people don't matter in the galaxy. It is not some galactic level conflict. It's small, it's contained, but I think it's a great story, and it's Obi-Wan dwelling on all his mistakes. Like, he is so alone for the rest of time, to just dwell on the fact that he failed as a Jedi, he failed as a mentor, and what that all means.
Yeah, it's definitely wrestling with that, which is really interesting part of the book.
To be honest, I don't know. This book has been, how do I say? I have another like 2 chapters left, admittedly. But
God, Callum, what the fuck?
I'm sorry.
You even had an extra week.
I know.
Civilized.
I know. But
It's like 15 minutes.
I know. But I've been battling up earache, but that's beyond the point.
Wait, is it a fucking eye ache?
Oh God.
Is it an audiobook?
Yeah, I've been listening to the audiobook version of it, so that's what I've been doing. I forget who does the audiobook again. Same person who did the Darth Vader trilogy. Does a really good job in this book. Very, very close to Obi-Wan's voice. But I don't know, this book is pretty lackluster compared to what we've had before. It's good, but it's just, I don't think it's that good. I should say.
See, I think it's good. It's just like I said, you get so used to these grand scale things that this is a very small story.
Right, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I like a smaller story, but I feel like a Western Star Wars, good idea. It's really good with that. But I think, again, it focuses a lot on... It's one of those stories that doesn't focus solely on Kenobi alone, but it focuses more on God, names escaping me.
Annaline.
Yeah, Annaline and them.
Yeah.
Kind of, it's like one of those books again where it talks about more about these characters introduced in the book than what it's actually named for.
And it's better than like the Revan book, and it even puts less of a focus than like the Darth Bane. Even had Rule of Two, it had more Xana than it had Annaline and Oren Gold.
See, here's the thing. I honestly like the Revan book better than this, but that's just me.
Personal preference, I guess, as well.
Right.
I do think a lot of people say this book's really good. It's a strong. This might annoy people, but anyway, I think it's not as good as people hype it up to be, but it's one of those slow burns. But I think it's because Obi-Wan can't do too much in it, of course, because he's in exile.
Right.
But you can't have... Like, the whole thing is just him wrestling with it. It's different to a different story you might go with, but of course he can't do much in this time.
What do you think of it, Stig?
I think it's one of my favorite Star Wars books, actually.
Really?
It's very well written, and compared to other Star Wars books, with the exception of the Darth Vader one, this one is very psychological, because it's a man basically deconstructing himself while also trying to create a life. And at the same time, it's also kind of a man versus nature story, because he's constantly learning about how to survive on Tatooine. And on Tatooine, you can't really learn by trial and error. You actually need help. You need knowledge. And he's getting that from Annalie. Without her, I think he would have. It wouldn't have ended well. And especially in one scene where he almost kills his riding animal because he doesn't know the animal's pregnant.
Yeah.
So you know, there's a lot of stuff like that, and there's a lot of nuances and little hints, and probably one of the most heartbreaking scenes in it is when he's told about that actor that had visited Tatooine for 2 years.
Yeah.
and his face got kind of disfigured from the heat. And as soon as
Yeah.
Emily leaves, he removes his hood and stares up at the sun to make it happen to him, right? So he'd be unrecognizable.
And that's why it looks so much older in A New Hope, which is a great way of writing it in.
Yeah, and all that stuff is it's very well written, and he's basically trying not to be a Jedi, which would be difficult because he's born and raised as a Jedi. But
he's doing everything he can to not be a Jedi, to like ignore all of his instincts. Like, even though, and that is the one thing that he's been told, that this boy is the key to everything, right? That's his only responsibility left, is protect this boy. And to do that, you have to not be a Jedi.
Yeah.
But he can't not. He is literally risking the life of Luke Skywalker because he cannot stop. He cannot stop helping people. He cannot stop doing the thing that he's always been told to do.
my only little gripe with this one is, well, the bad guy isn't that interesting. He's actually boring, and the Crate Dragon fight, I thought it wasn't needed, and it was too Michael Bay in a way. But if they had to do it, they should have had the fight in the desert, so the bones that Luke walked, 3PO or R2 walks past. It would have been cool if that was the Crate Dragon.
That would have
Kenobi
been
killed.
cool.
But all in all, I'm giving the book a 9 out of 10.
Nice. So you obviously love it, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a little high for me, but it is good. I like it.
It's different. Maybe that's why I like it more.
Yeah.
Because like Ryan said, it's not about the big bad evil to be killed, right? It's a very personal story and a psychological one, and it is slow. It is slow, but it's
takes a while to get going.
it has an atmosphere, I think.
Yeah, for sure. A couple of things I noticed as well was, like, when I was listening to it for the first time, I've read it before, is how it does mention both Siritachi and Satine at points and stuff as well. So it ties things together quite well.
There's a pile of people in the back.
Yeah, there is. I sent the link to everyone, so everyone's here. So
Sorry. There's my harem is in the back.
How many people are back there?
Everyone's here for Obi-Wan Kenobi. You just admit it. Anyway, let's have Mara Jade come on now. And let's have fun.
Yeah, cool. She spent enough time in the back where she belongs. Oh, hi, Mara.
Did you at least clean the back room?
That wasn't my duty. My duties were in the kitchen, so you have to talk to either Teresa or OG Star Wars.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, in the back there.
So you're gonna introduce her, Callum?
Yes.
Yeah, this is Mara Jade Shadow on YouTube. She's loves EU too. That's pretty much all you need to do to be on here.
That and DM Cal on Twitter.
Yeah. Let's make sure I know that you want to join. Yeah.
Or Ryan.
So if you want to join in, you can come and join in. So what are your thoughts on the book?
Callum. Well, first off, Callum had asked me if I wanted to be on last night, so I said, I can. And then I was waiting for the link, and I heard Evan say, isn't Mara supposed to be here?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm here, but I not anything because I live stream on in the background. I go by Mara Jade, and as far as the book, it's I don't know, I wouldn't necessarily say it's one of my favorites, but it's one of the ones I love because I think if they were to do a standalone Obi-Wan Kenobi, this would be like
you're skipping a lot.
Yeah, probably you're into
right here.
Mara, do you have a bunch of tabs open again?
Do.
Yeah,
my internet sucks. I have an order in for a new router. I have an order in for a new router, but Verizon won't come into the house just yet. So
Yeah.
my internet still sucks, and it's going to suck for a little while because of the stupid
it's good now, though.
coronavirus.
Mars got that Dune C internet.
Yeah.
What?
Signal out there.
Yeah, she's out there in the Jundland wastes looking for me.
Speaking of, you know what today is, Ryan?
It's the anniversary of the death of the expanded universe. Well, of the continuation, the stories of the expanded universe. Yeah. April 25th, 2014.
Oh yeah, it was the Anzac Day yesterday as well, because it's the 26th here.
Yeah, 6 damn years ago, Star Wars YouTube page put out a video on what do you like about the expanded universe and growing up on it with all its freaking employees.
Callum, what is your problem? Mute the mic.
I should have muted them.
It's too late now.
It's been too long since I've done the book club. We need to do it more often.
We will. Time permitting, of course. Anyway, but so where were we?
All right, so 4 or 6 years ago was when they basically came out and said, "Hey, these are all the awesome things that we love about the expanded universe, but we're moving forward with a new thing." And we're like, "Wait, what?" Nope, that was the death of the expanded universe. And since then, the carcass has been picked at by Lucasfilm because that's where they get all their stories.
It's picked up the Thrawn portion, picking up that character out of it.
Well, not. It looks like Thrawn, but
it's his name.
Yeah.
Yeah. They have a character named the same thing as an EU character. That's pretty much it. But
all
yeah.
Right. Let's check these comments.
All right, so let's actually get back on topic to the actual book. So we start off essentially like if I remember, the prologue to this book is basically Obi-Wan walking into the cantina like with baby Luke, like little baby Luke before
the homestead.
Exactly, before the ending scene of Revenge of the Sith. Him giving the baby to the Larses. It's him at the cantina asking how to get there. And immediately you realize that wherever Obi-Wan follows or wherever Obi-Wan goes, trouble is always going to follow him, literally no matter what. That's just like the way the universe works for Obi-Wan. And he ends up having to like toss the baby to somebody real quick while he turns the power out and, pulls a lightsaber out and takes out a couple people, without anyone realizing it was him, and then moves on to the Lars homestead. That's like the way it starts. And you think, wow, this book's going to be interesting. Maybe there'll be more action in it than I thought. But as you go through, you see there's really not very much action in it, which is kind of how I anticipated it being. Because, again, you got a guy in hiding. You have a hermit who's supposed to stay hidden. So were you guys disappointed at all by the lack of action in it?
Not at all. I would have liked it even if it had no action. It was so well written. And it's not an action story to begin with.
That's fair. I mean, I like my Star Wars with action in it, of course. I think there was enough in this that it's fine. But any less than what's in this is just generally, you're kind of losing me a little bit.
You need enough to keep it interesting.
Right. You can't. The thing is, you can't just have like a whole romance novel where there's really nothing going on except expressing feelings and crap. You can't have one of those be in Star Wars. Well, you could, but it wouldn't probably do very well. It wouldn't sell very well or be received very well by the audience. But because I feel like you really need something that expands into some sort of action in a fight or something else.
Yeah.
I thought the weak point was the villain. He was boring. That rancher.
Orange Gold.
Yeah, a little bit of. little bit of yeah, just meh. As far as like you could tell something was up with the character throughout the story, but like when it got to like why he was doing those things, I was like, I just want to get back to the Sand People, like what they were doing.
Yeah, what did you think about that, Mara? The way,
Those are more interesting to me.
yeah,
as
yeah,
far
the
as
fact that we killed the Sand People.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like,
well,
this
I
makes a good point as well. It didn't
I
need the
enjoyed
action too much. Like,
What?
I think what Informal Geek said,
Mhm.
welcome, said lack of constant action did make that bit the boiled over have a lot more impact. It almost seemed like personal preference maybe that you don't have as much. Like the Crate Dragon was a little bit much, I think, but the rest was fine, I think. But yeah,
Go on, Mara.
it's the balance of action. Sorry, Mara. I was just getting to that before I lost all the comments on the stream. Yeah, and then in the private
anyway,
chat,
about back to the question Ryan had about the what I thought about the Sand People. I really enjoyed that there was at least an added layer to those characters because when we saw them in A New Hope, they were just creatures on the dunes. You didn't know much about them other than like they went after the moisture farmers and things like that. They were the kind of the antagonists to those farmers because of how Sand People viewed technology and so forth. But then in this book, you had the extra depth where you're saying, oh, like, well, they're actually thinking creatures. They're not just attacking for the sake of just attacking because they don't like the settlers or things like that. This is their beliefs. This is their mentality. And you almost side with them at one point in the book because you're like, yeah, I can see where you're coming from in this like position, like where you don't exactly root for them, but at the same time, as you come away with it with a level of understanding, which is why I would have preferred that they were the primary antagonist in the book versus the actual quote unquote villain in the book. Although I do like his comeuppance at the end. I don't want to go into spoilers just like the end just yet, but that's my feelings about the addition of the like the focus on the Tusken Raiders in this book. So that's what I enjoyed about it.
I agree. I'll
really
agree
good.
with that statement, Mara. I feel like what they should have done as well is from the Legacy comics, they had a flashback in those two Asharid Het. And I wish the novel revolved more around those panels of what was going on with him and Kenobi in that. I would have liked to see that. And yes, again, I think having the antagonist be the Tuskens instead of this, what do you call it? I mean, they are sort of antagonists.
I'm trying to find
sort of. What? And I think that there was. I feel like the Tusken should have been more antagonistic. No, they are bad guys. No, I mean being an antagonist doesn't mean you're bad. It doesn't mean that. It means that
it's an antagonistic force. Like even Obi-Wan's own wrestling with what the aftermath of what happened would be an antagonistic force in this book.
Exactly.
Like just think of it this way. Like all bad guys are antagonists, but not all antagonists are bad guys. They are just they're just an opposing force in a way to the protagonist, which is the main character or main characters in the book. So it doesn't necessarily mean they themselves are bad.
So, in a way, Kenobi is fighting nature on Tatooine in a way, but he's also fighting his own nature all through the. So
Yeah, for sure.
he is basically his own antagonist in a way.
I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
Steve's
definitely
coming from that I'm going back to school for my master's in secondary education in English teaching, and he's like, "Give me an assignment. I want to write something." I'm like, "Okay." and I just finished reading the Kenobi book, and I'm like, okay, here, there's themes of conflict. Pick one, write about it, and here's like the themes to choose from. And if you going back to that, you can like look, just read this book and see that there's at least all three examples of the at least three of the themes in conflict: man versus man, man versus himself, man versus nature in this book. At least you might be able to add in man versus society if you include the compounds of the individuals, like where Obi-Wan goes in to buy goods and things like that. But the first three are the primary ones. So you have, that's why I said that you can use this film as a standalone blueprint for a Kenobi movie, and it'd be a very human-driven drama because just of those three themes of conflict throughout this book.
Yeah, and it already has a strong female character in it, who is a single mom. Which is everything Disney wants.
Well, and there's also, you know, the revelation that the main Tusken, you know, leader is a female, which you don't, you know, you don't even really realize that. You kind of just assume that it's not in your head for, you know, 2/3 of the book until you find out exactly what's going on. And I thought so much of the like the Tuskens are really interesting, which is one of the things when like you see how they interact in the show The Mandalorian after reading Kenobi, and you're just like, this is a fucking joke. One of the big issues that Stieg had with their appearance in The Mandalorian, obviously that technology and everything like that. But I really enjoyed that first kind of showdown they have when they're in the desert surrounded by the Tuskens, and you know, one of them's just been killed, and like Obi-Wan's talking to the mother, and they think that Aniline is actually the one that can use the Force. Yeah, I thought that stuff was so cool. Again, it's a different story. It can't be held up to the same level, in my opinion, as you know, a story about, you know, Jason and Jaina Solo fighting, you know, twins from the Skywalker line, you know, fighting. One's a Sith and one's a Jedi. You know, very few things can hold up to that level of emotional resonance and what it means for the galaxy. But to me, this book is very good at achieving like what it set out to do, which is a small contained story that gives you a lot of details about Obi-Wan's mindset.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't know, that Dreams and Nightmares, I think, may have made it too far into tragic themes, because what we have with the meditations and everything just set a great undertone for the rest of it, I think.
Right.
I saw somebody mention in there the parts where he's like, because obviously one of the things that he's been told to do is to learn from his master Qui-Gon, you know, about how to speak to him and how to, you know, get to that next level so he can become one with the Force as well. And it's like when you hear him talking to Qui-Gon and like expressing his real feelings, I think that part's, I don't know. It's powerful. It's powerful as someone who grew up in the era and is a huge prequel lover, you know, and especially if you've read the Jedi Apprentice series, where you get to know a lot more about Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon and their relationship.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that adds a lot of weight, emotional weight to that interaction.
Yeah, definitely.
Do we want to get Teresa in here now?
Yeah, I was just about to.
All right. As you do that, I'm going to look through some of these comments.
Yeah, no worries. Welcome, Teresa. You're now Miss Martin Muses on Twitter and on your YouTube.
Actually, her initials are
Wow. What an introduction.
Things that make you go.
And the woman formerly known as Miss Martin uses now because of that comment.
I can't change it now. I already got the art. Well, thank you. It's great being on. I loved this book. I thought it was like sinking into a warm bath. It was very nice.
As long as it's not too warm.
Oh no, not too warm, but it was. I read it very slowly, actually, very leisurely, and the chapters weren't very long. I also like that as well. It was kind of like you were brought into a world, and you got to just live in it for a bit. I like to feel what was very much like A New Hope, where you could smell the smoke and the exhaust and the oil and all the stuff about what life was on Tatooine, as opposed to the more pristine parts of Coruscant and the like, where everything was smoother and all that. I thought that it was a great contrast, and I really felt how I could hate sand. It was loads of fun, and I liked the main character. I liked Annalene, and I definitely could relate to how everyone was in love with Obi-Wan Kenobi right away. I thought that was hysterical. Because, of course, here he is thinking, I'll just be low-key. I'll just be real quiet in my little cloak, and no one will notice. And, of course, every chick on the planet seemed to be, oh, my gosh, that mysterious man. I thought that was great. And it was very sad. It was very sad. And it wasn't just sad for Obi-Wan and everything. I thought there was a great deal of melancholy with Annalene and her life. Here she was a widow, and the daily grind, just day to day. And then it turns out someone that she thought was almost a family member it turns out to be this horrible, horrible man who's been betraying them all that time. And so much that she had to leave everything behind. I thought that was a very unique story, and it was a fascinating character study about a woman living out on a planet trying to survive and getting screwed without being kissed. I mean, it was really sad.
Yeah, definitely. I think that undertone is a lot better than going too overboard with the tragedy.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And I like the happy ending. And you know that it was Bail Organa who got her into the university, and the kids were able to go with her and go off and study.
Where did they go, though?
They went to Naboo.
And then they were going to go to Alderaan.
Well, were they going to end up in Alderaan? I thought they were going to stay in the periphery. I thought, because I got so scared when
hold on. I got the book in front of me.
Okay, she's got the book. I thought that it's kind of like, and it wasn't the main campus. As long as they stay on Naboo, because I thought the same things.
Why did you do that, Callum?
You know, they're not going to hang out.
I didn't do that.
Oh, there she is.
Oh, was
I
I
must
kidding?
have conked out for a moment.
Yeah, you like just disappeared, and then you came back with her.
Cal, what the hell is wrong with you?
Well, that was amazing. Well, it must have been I was taken out by the Death Star, and then I was regenerated. It was very lovely.
You thought it was going to be such a happy ending for you, and you knew you were going to Naboo, and then a beautiful place like Alderaan. What a great story! What a great ending for those characters.
Exactly.
Yeah, they actually ended up on Alderaan, so they had a blast.
Wow. No, it's loads of fun. I did enjoy it. I enjoyed it a lot more than I enjoyed the last installment of the Darth Bane. Of course, you can't really compare it, but it was, as far as, was it satisfying? Was it what I expected, and did it deliver? Absolutely. And the way that Obi-Wan stayed in character, I was so glad it didn't turn out to be some big bodice ripper where he decided to explore his hunger, with this chick, that what it didn't turn out to be a Twilight in the sand kind of a situation.
Yeah, I was wondering about that too.
Is Oren gonna step into the light and sparkle here?
No, it wasn't Obi-Wan that it was gonna end up being this big romance between the two, and the fact that Obi-Wan, you kind of maybe sense that perhaps he might have been slightly tempted, but not really. He just stayed Obi-Wan.
He has his whole thing where he goes, well, I know that this doesn't lead down the right path. I've already had 2 relationships.
Yeah.
That didn't work out.
Well, and he knew it couldn't work out because his number one goal was looking after Luke.
Yeah, and if he had a distraction, then it would have not worked out for it.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I prefer to think that he only had one relationship at this point.
Siri.
Yeah.
It's weird because I don't know what the timeline placement for Satine is properly of when it started.
Cal, me and you went over this. Do you know?
I know we did it once, but it's been a while, and I'm just like,
Hey, listen, based on
he
everything
must
I've
have
seen
been
from
with
Clone
Satine
Wars,
at the same time he liked Siritachi.
everything that I've seen and everything that I've seen in Clone Wars season 7 tells me that it's very inextricably linked to Disney Star Wars. It belongs in Disney canon, not Legends. That's what it looks like to me. So,
Well, when you have tie-in materials, Ryan.
I don't know who Dryden Voss is. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, season 7 is in Legends canon, bud.
Yeah.
But
No, it fits in perfectly with the rest of TCW, though.
Yeah, that's true as well. But then Satine was also in the Clone Wars that alludes to that he was with her earlier, and then stuff happened.
So the way it went was, just letting you know, the way it went was that it was Siri first, then Satine,
Then Siri again.
then was it Siri? Because I know. Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but this was in Secrets of the Jedi, correct? Where they were like, let's be lovers, but like they were lovers, but they didn't acknowledge it. They essentially they acknowledge it in the one book, and they're like, oh, maybe we shouldn't do this, but they still care for each other. And then later in the same book, like time skip, like 10 or 20 years later, it's like they're on the one mission, and then all hell goes loose, and then correct me if I'm wrong there.
Did you know Kenobi had problems with his email? Because he's not allowed to have attachments.
He's also in Tatooine.
Yeah, that is canon. That is canon. You heard it here first.
Right.
Yeah, cool. So, yeah. Is there anything more you wanted to say, Teresa?
Oh, well.
Bring on OG Star Wars in a minute.
You're about to kick her out. She just got here.
I was like,
no.
well, thank you.
Sorry.
I love you too, Callum.
I was trying to think. I want to make sure everyone gets a shot.
Remember, I've only got about 15 or 20 minutes left, so once I'm gone, everybody can be here. That's no big deal.
Okay, cool.
Well, no worries. I know when an Anne's trying to get rid of me. It's quite all right.
Get out of here, Teresa.
It's quite all right. I know you're just not that into me. Fine.
Teresa.
Someone else will love Miss Martin.
Hold on. I'm going to see if. Where is he? Is he not on Discord right now? Because he's in the chat, but I'm not seeing him.
Who are you talking about, or to, Callum? You're just like, Teresa's just talking, you're muttering to yourself. Or not Callum, Evan.
Informal. I'm saying
well, people are talking to the voices in their head. Well, no, if you want me to have a last word, I'm more than happy to. I'm okay with last words. So my last word on this, I would give this an 8 out of 10. I really, really enjoyed it. It wasn't magnificent as far as 10 out of 10, something like Path of Destruction. That one just blew me away and into the hemisphere into several 100,000 millimeters of joy. I don't know if that made any sense, but that's okay. 8 out of 10. It was, like I said, it was a very relaxing book. It was very lovely. I can't really have any complaints about it. I love what happened to Oren. I thought it was poetic justice for him to end up all wrapped up like a mummy as a sand person, which is the last thing he wanted to have. The last thing. And the ending where they all go off to study and not end up on Alderaan Steeg, not in my head canon. They're going to live on Naboo. And Obi-Wan does his duty. I think it's great. That's great. 8 out of 10.
Nice. Awesome.
Okay, now kick me.
Okay, thanks for coming on. I'll see you at the next book club.
Yeah, you can on for 5 minutes then too. Yeah, thanks.
see you, Teresa.
Right.
Revenge of the Flower.
Bye, Teresa.
Bye.
I cut her off saying bye, but that's okay. Hello, OG Star Wars.
Hi, you guys. How you doing?
Pretty good.
Okay.
Hi,
Ryan.
Speak quickly. Callum is going to kick you off.
Yeah, you got 5
I got
minutes
that.
before Callum cuts you off.
Yeah, I know. I'll probably get booted out again, or like he did with Teresa too, right?
Cal boots a lot of people off.
Get your shit together. No. Yeah.
It's been too long. I need to do more EU book clubs. Then I'd be better. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Practice
You just
makes.
need to do more group stuff in general with live streams.
Mhm.
That'll help. Yeah.
So, what do you think of the book?
All right, so it's one of my favorite books to go back to and listen to on painting or read if I have time. I really like the story because it gets behind the mental capacity of Obi-Wan Kenobi trying not to be a Jedi, but yet still being a Jedi to protect Luke, still training yet, but he can't be very noticeable as a Jedi. I like how he is also seen as, dressing like the, what do you call it? Shit. The little guys. And there goes my food. Jawas, there we go.
Jawas.
Long day. I just got out of yoga teacher training, so yeah. So Jawas, I like how they compared him to them. So basically, then that shows that he's blending in a sense, I guess you could say, and how they say that he is that Ben, and that goes into the story of why the Lars or Owen doesn't like him as well, or doesn't want him around. I like the arc with the Sand People. We get to learn their culture and why they hate the settlers, and how they view like their environment, like the twin suns and all that, and the story behind that. I like the everyday life that he gets involved with, and how that something mundane still needs the help of a Jedi, basically. And that's like with Annalisa and, Owen Galt, and how he deceives his own, neighbors, and goes to Jabba for help and money and stuff, and how that transitions to him eventually being found out and then finding out how Kenobi is a Jedi as well. And I like how there's flashbacks on Asherad Het and going back into that story. So we understand how, they know about him as the Jedi, and how Plug Eye knows basic. I like how they have the conclusion of how the tribe was slaughtered, even though it doesn't say Anakin's name really until Obi-Wan connects those pieces, and how that affected the Sand People as well, and their confidence as well in their culture. So overall, I think it's a really well made book. It's not Jedi eccentric when it comes to like battles, and the Sith eccentric, basically, the war part of it. And it's not supposed to be. And so that's why I like it, because we get a slowdown. We get behind Obi-Wan's mentality and his, I guess you could say, his PTSD, how he's trying to train with Qui-Gon, how he sits and meditates with Anakin's lightsaber. So that is pretty much something that's really, really well done.
Yeah, I totally agree on basically all those points. I that's what and I keep going back to it, that it's a different feeling Star Wars book.
Mm-hmm.
It is so personal. Not that other ones don't get personal, but this one is just, I think it's because everyone knows so much about Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Because he's obviously a character that's in all of the prequels and the OT. He's a lot of people's favorite character in general. If you're a fan of the TCW, you see him a lot in the Clone Wars as well. So he's a character that everybody knows so much about. So anybody can sit there and read that book and understand exactly what he's going through, because we witnessed so much of it happen. Because Revenge of the Sith is such a powerful movie in and of itself. And it's him dealing with the fallout of that emotion.
Yeah.
So it's awesome.
So what do you guys think about the like how the Sand People started targeting Annaline because they thought she was one of the Jedi, basically? I forgot exactly what they called her. I don't have the book in front of me. Yeah, and there you go. And how they, because of Plug Eye, and she's learning to think differently from their culture. Instead of attacking at a certain time at nighttime, she starts going in the mornings. And instead of attacking way out in nowhere or close to someone's, home or their homestead, they start going into the town. So what do you guys think about how they went to go get Annalene and they attacked her at her place?
Anybody?
Did anyone pay attention?
No, I'm paying attention. How do I feel about it? I don't know. I can't say that there is much to say about that to me personally, as they're just acting in their own interests, I should say, trying to prevent something bigger and something. They're trying to stop a threat that they see as they're trying to stop something which they see as an oncoming threat.
Yeah, and what do you think about the crate alarm call that Owen Galt, basically cons everybody into purchasing, and how Anna or not Annalene, but Plug Eye starts learning that it's a trick, but she still can't convince her people that it's a trick.
Right.
So there's like so much depth into that alone, just in its own self, because we have Sand people here figuring out some things, and in a sense, like she starts allowing them to take metal stuff and human-made stuff that which they were almost against, and they even built or redid or refurbished the humidifier, the water tower thing. And so we see this, and we see that arc in that transition to that change. And so it gives us an insight of like I said, the culture of the Sand people. And I thought that was really, really fascinating.
And even that, I'd like how it shows that Ayark is actually older than most of them, and so it's starting to get a bit smarter about how she's thinking. And
she's more progressive than some of the other Sand people.
And she's going, the kids these days are dumb.
And she learned a lot from Asherad Het, and her sister basically married Asherad Het. Her sister was captured and made as part of the Sand people, so she was human. And so she learned a lot from him as well, and so she incorporated that as in survival. And even though they go upon like the humiliation of the twin sons and stuff like that, she starts to realize, what, it doesn't affect us anymore. That was a story a long time ago. We need to move on.
Take what you can learn from it and then move on.
Go ahead.
Was she in the comics? I can't remember if she was in the.
No. What was her name? It was.
She was Plug Eye. Ayark.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ayark is Plug Eye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know in the new canon that they retcon one of the Tuscans in episode 4 to be Ayark, but
I saw that when I was looking her up.
But so far, I'm not seeing it. I guess she could have appeared in
appearances.
The Outlander
she's only
comic,
got appearances
but
in
it would
Kenobi
have to have been a retconned appearance.
on Wikipedia.
Because I remember those comics were very Sand people centered, and but it's been a long time since I read them, so time for a reread, I suppose.
Yeah. And it takes by the time of A New Hope for the Sand people to be rebuilt properly as well, I think.
Yeah, and they faced a lot. Like at the end of Kenobi, you realize that they have to rebuild that because of the tragedy of what Anakin did, and then plus fighting the settlers. They do disappear into the backdrop, and they still have the war, I guess you could, against the settlers and stuff. We still see that's still predominant, but they're in lesser numbers. So if there's anything written between then and OT that expanded on them a little bit more, I'm pretty sure there would be a decline. in somehow some kind of story if there was ever a Sand People centric story, or another Kenobi centric story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you guys say that? Well, that Kenobi is very close to a full-blown mental breakdown all through the
Yeah.
book.
Yeah,
Uh,
definitely.
But
Yeah.
Annalie is the only one keeping him standing, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty sure he would have had a mental breakdown with Rowan being pregnant if she didn't come along and just say, "Hey, she's pregnant."
Yeah, he almost killed that animal, didn't he?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, and one of the things that was really shocking to me, and the first time I read it, I kind of rolled my eyes a little bit when it was like, "Oh, people call me Annie," and he like, "Dun dun dun!" Like, why do you say that name? Like it was like, come on, whatever. Of all the fucking people in the world, you find one person who also goes by Annie. All right.
Yeah.
But you could definitely see the mental baggage he's carrying,
Yeah, and
You see
said
that
it
a
was,
lot when he's just staring at Anakin's lightsaber alone, and like he mentions he does it like a couple of nights where he just like looks at it. It's like that kind of like touched me to a degree. It's like, God, he really did not want to do that, and he really longs for I guess a couple weeks ago, before everything went down, and just thinks, oh, how I've failed, what could I have done to fix the problem?
Yeah. What's so interesting that I find is because he does meditate with Anakin's lightsaber, and he's training, he's trying to establish communication with Qui-Gon so he can learn to become a Force ghost, and that's what that's all about. And he gets caught by Kelly as he's talking, because he's meditating and talking out loud instead of talking in his mind, and she hears it. And at that time they only know him as Ben, not Kenobi, and so she finds out who his last name is, and she basically, and of course she's infatuated with him as well, and she tells everybody in their family shop, and and Anchorhead, all of them know who it are. Not Anchorhead, is it Anchorhead? No, is it Anchorhead that they're at?
Well, they mentioned Mos Eisley, but I can't remember
They
exactly.
might be
Yeah,
the Oasis, and they
they're
all think of them Mos Eisley.
Yeah.
Isn't it? I thought it was Bestine.
No. I think they're in Acrehead. That's where Annalene and them live. But anyway, she tells everybody.
Yeah, I think they call it the Oasis.
Yeah, the Oasis.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, it's near Anchorhead.
Yeah. And so they find out his last name, which that scares them. And then they name all these Kenobis, and they have these weird people, and Kenobi's like, oh, this thief and this liar and this blah blah blah. And he's like, thank God they there's other Kenobis out there, So I thought that was kind of funny, but yet.
Yeah. But the Oasis or the Claim.
Yeah.
Whichever it exactly was. But yeah, it's cool. So I've got someone else on here as well. So did Mara want to step out for a change?
Well,
do you need to go?
No, I actually do need to get going. So I can be the one. I can take the bullet.
Yeah.
All right. Where do you want it at?
The head, right in the head.
Okay, where we
right in the sugar.
We talk about right here, right here, right here, right here, right here. Like you tell me.
His third eye.
That got real
Cal,
fast.
you pull the trigger.
Plug yourself first. Have a good send off.
But I do think that, like I said, I enjoyed this. I don't know if I put it like Stieg says a 9. That's pretty high. Teresa says an 8. I would say a solid 7 or 7.5. I really enjoy it for what it is. Obi-Wan is one of my favorite characters. I think that it's a cool, unique story. We get to learn more about Tatooine. We get to learn more about the Sand People. And could I have used a little less Oren and Annalene? Probably a little bit, but it's not one that I want to go reread a lot, but it is really good. So I recommend it for all of you, especially if you're a fan of Kenobi. It is a little slow, so if you're someone who really needs action, while you're reading, maybe not the best Star Wars book for you. But thanks for having me, Callum. As always, Evan, Stieg, OG Star Wars, Mara. Thank you guys.
It's good talking to you again.
Good talking
All
to
right,
you.
Ryan.
See ya.
That was great.
You too.
You know, Christopher Nelson says it's a good book but a bad title. I have to agree with him. I think it should have been called Binary Sunset.
Yeah, I actually told Chris that we were doing this. I DM'd him on Facebook. Told him we were streaming right now. What's Matt doing? Is he available?
It's his
tomorrow?
girl's birthday, and I know he's gonna live stream later on.
Oh, okay. Also,
Yeah,
Matt,
I'm
you
gonna
hurt
shoot
my
a link
feelings. Who, me?
Yeah. I've shot a link to Christopher Nelson if he wants to come on
Right.
in here. But for now, we've got a guy who's calling himself a Roadcast that's coming
That
on.
Matt Wilkins fellow had a go at me last week for having not read a couple of solo books.
Oh, was that on my stream?
Matt's a nice guy.
Yeah.
I like Matt.
He's a good guy.
know- Yes, he's a nice guy. But I wanted to know that I'm going to fix that. I'm going to
Yes.
read those books.
Then read them. Read them, goddammit.
Yeah, but
damn it. Get your act together.
I've been reading 3 Game of Thrones books.
You still have time. We're not going anywhere. We're all in quarantine, right?
Yeah.
Actually, my state's coming out of it for the most part. People are going to go back to work.
Nice. Nice.
My governor extended the stay-at-home order until May 8th,
Yeah, well,
but
if they
May
keep,
might make exceptions for some businesses, and I'm crossing my fingers they don't include Verizon. Otherwise, I'm going to banshee scream.
oh,
So, are you there, Roadcast?
Yeah, I didn't realize you added me in for a second. How you doing?
Yeah, that's all right. People were talking, so you had time to catch up.
I was falling asleep backstage. Yeah, I didn't know it was on part of the finish, you know. Yeah, I am going to go to bed soon, so I'll try and make it quick so you can bring someone else on. Yeah, it's been a while since I read this book. Probably about. I think the last time I tried reading it, and I do like it, by the way, but I tried reading it last time and couldn't finish it, was when they announced the Kenobi series again. And I wanted to get myself hyped again, so I thought, oh, I may as well read the book. And the things I like about the book is there's a lot of opposites in a way, like total opposite of what Obi-Wan's used to dealing with, whereas you got like small town as opposed to big galaxy-wide conflicts. You got this big this big problem in a small little town. Instead of the Emperor manipulating and wearing a mask and all that, you've got Aaron Galt being the one to do that. Instead of separatists, you're dealing with Sand people. Instead of having his whole communal living with the Jedi, where he's always got someone to turn to, like Yoda or somebody, he's got no one except himself. He tries talking to Qui-Gon. Qui-Gon, I guess, is giving him a test to become self-reliant.
Qui-Gon has muted him.
Yeah, he's exactly. Yeah, he's muted him for a while.
What you're talking about is that Qui-Gon accidentally muted himself. He never turned his mic back on, and thus he's just been going. He's just wondering.
Yeah, he's partying in the afterlife. He ain't got time to deal with Obi-Wan's small town problems.
Quiet, I'm talking to Yoda.
Yeah,
You know, it was probably Callum just kicked him.
Yeah, he didn't Callum just kicked him out of nowhere, so he had to go attend to Yoda.
Yeah, you know, Cal, when you kick people, I don't know if it's because of your Australian accent, you permanently sound sarcastic while you're doing it. You Aussies always sound sarcastic no matter what.
Do we? Okay.
Yeah, I liked because I've got on my channel is an interview with. It's not my interview; it's my friend's interview with the author of this book. And he mentions how he likes to have his characters reflect and have the pace go a bit slow every now and then, which explains some of the pacing. He says always after a bit of action. And when I look at this book, there's been a lot of action after the prequel trilogy. It's Obi-Wan's time to reflect. That's probably why it goes so slow. I did actually like the crate dragon bit, but I do agree that it kind of went on a little bit too long in a way. But builds up the tension. It's fine.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
What did you think about the scene at Mos Eisley? Was that Mos Eisley? With when he went to go pay Jabba, and it was his one of his overseers, and how Kenobi, went in there and then was, hanging out in the top of the ceiling and stuff, and how all that event. So what did you think about that?
I would love to see that in live action, that scene.
Yeah.
That was a pretty cool scene. Yeah. I liked that. I liked, because it's always that, like, is he gonna hop in there or isn't he, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's another thing I was going to point out before when we're talking about how it's contrary to everything Obi-Wan's dealt with. He's dealt with a big Republic government, and now he's dealing with this kind of anarcho-capitalist kind of Tatooine, where gangsters basically run it as well. So again, it's another adjustment. There's no authorities for people to run to. There's just people are the authorities, or it's the gangsters if you can convince them to join in. I liked how he has some kind of conflict on whether to just have a normal life with Annalene, and he makes the right decision. And it's been a while since I read it. Does Obi-Wan organize, like, is it kind of hinted that Obi-Wan kind of organizes some protection for Luke from the Sand People, so they will never attack Luke? With the relationship he builds.
Yeah, I get that he wanted to.
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna answer this. Okay. No, I'm joking. It's assumed that he was, but because of the situation that happened with Oren Goat, he's a goat. I don't think he does it because we didn't see anything happen, and by time we get to the scene in the OT and the New Hope and stuff, there's no indications whatsoever. So I don't think he did. I think Kenobi just stayed low key and continued to watch just from the outskirts and stuff.
Yeah, because he has the Sand People's respect, doesn't he? And that's why they will never attack him in the end. I think they don't really attack warriors, I guess, like people they know they're outmatched against. Like I think someone mentioned earlier, they didn't like the scene in The Mandalorian when they communicate. I didn't mind that because the Sand People won't be stupid enough to attack a Mandalorian, in my opinion. That's just me. But it's, I always wondered that though. Did he arrange some kind of protection? Maybe not. I guess it wore off in the end, didn't it? And I always liked how the Sand People are broken by what Anakin did to them, like their cultures in decline, their traditions, that they're almost extinct by Anakin. It's insane that one person could do that.
And I think that builds on you saying that, well, would they need protection after being broken so much, and especially near the end when they've been defeated and wouldn't want to attack big settlements for a long time? It'd take them 19 years to rebuild. Yeah, 19. It's a long time as well. That's what. Yeah. I think this is an interesting question. Like a novel, do you guys think a novel like this will work for Yoda, but on Dagobah and less action?
No.
Because there's nobody else on Dagobah. Then
actually, Jordan.
Actually, Galaxy of Fear.
If I remember right,
what were you gonna say?
Cardus,
Never mind.
I think that's his name, Jordis Cardus.
George Carter.
Yeah.
He's crashing on Dagobah, so that would be kind of an interesting premise where they just kind of go on a whole
land your plane, Evan.
Where they go on a little adventure and stuff. I think that would work. Sorry, sometimes I get tongue-tied.
No,
it's used to this by now. This is the.
I guess technically it could work, but I don't want them to because there's supposed to be a Shroud of Secrecy to Yoda.
Oh yeah, I mean,
and so I don't like. I feel like you would be. Granted, you wouldn't be exploring his origin, but at the same time, you'd be exploring more into his character, and I feel like that would take away from if you were to watch the original trilogy. the surprise, like, hey, here's this Grand Jedi Master. Oh, it looks like a Miss Piggy and Kermit had a child.
I feel like it'll work as like short stories or something. Maybe like not
maybe
plot driven, but
stories.
like meditations or something of Yoda on Dagobah, his thoughts, his inner thoughts about what happened, and maybe that could work, but not as a novel. No.
But wouldn't you think that would take away from like even how Yoda really tests Luke and how eccentric he is, and how how he's putting himself off as this bumbling fool, kind of like idiotic kind of person? Do you think that if they did expand on Yoda between this time period, that wouldn't be believable anymore?
As long as you don't it depends. Like I said, as a novel, it would ruin that kind of. If you got book readers and such, people who prefer the books to the movies and go for them instead.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't mind seeing it just as a book of Yoda's thoughts or something. Replace.
I'm thinking about
it could have been worse. He could have said Youngling.
Very good question.
What's the Wookiee Padawan in the Clone Wars? Gunji? He would take him down.
I would at least a Wookiee would at least. That's I could take anyone but a Wookiee. I think a Rodian, easy.
What about that kid Anakin kills though?
Zet?
No, Master Skywalker.
Stars.
I don't know.
Saul's Van Diem, something like that. Yeah, I think that's his name. Something like that.
He's probably pretty tough.
Yeah.
No. George Lucas's son, when he's just cutting down the.
Zet could easily
the other one when he was cutting down them as Bail Organa watching. He's like, what? Yeah.
I mean, that kid held his own for at least a little bit before he was cut down. So I give him at least credit there.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And I think the training saber, Yeah. Okay. Training. The one that can't even cut through anything without numbing your arm. Yeah. That would.
It'll just numb your brain to brain death.
Did you guys?
I don't think they have too much faith.
Jojo would win against me only out of pure stupidity. It wouldn't even be a fight. It'd just be me like.
But that puts you down because
you're dumber than him. No, this is how the Jar Jar thing would go. He would run, he would trip, and me chasing after him. I would fucking follow him, crack my head against a fucking boulder, and just fucking die. That's how that luck would end up.
No, don't forget he's a Sith Lord.
I do not entertain that crap.
Maybe as of just the Phantom Menace without Attack of the Clones or Revenge of the Sith, he could have been, but with those additions, no.
No, still no. I don't want to entertain that crap.
Why not? It'll be entertaining.
I feel confident I could take Watto because I have practice with dealing with angry seagulls, and that's pretty close.
Like when there's a fly in the room and you grab its wings and flick it off.
I just rip them off and post a picture of the mutilated fly on Instagram and stuff.
Get some bug spray on him or something.
Yeah.
Also thinking of going back to the Yoda thing, I think I agree with Roadcast that it'd be better as like a short story for sure, because I think a novel would go too far into trying to explain things that shouldn't be explained as well. Yeah.
Did you guys see that Hayden Christensen actually met the kid? He killed him.
Yeah, I saw that photo recently.
Yeah, I saw the picture.
That was pretty cool.
Any good memes from it?
Wasn't that kid Australian? I'm pretty sure that kid was Australian. They just gathered up a bunch of kids here in Australia.
Probably why.
I'm serious. And took them down to the shooting location in Australia. I think it was in Sydney, and essentially shot that scene like a day or two.
Imagine that you're just in school and then you just get pulled away from. Oh, kids, you're going to be in Star Wars.
You probably have something that lasts longer than what you learned that day in school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I want to go back to when I was in Mos Eisley talking to the Jabba representative, because I actually really imagine that as
Someone clip
one that
Evan.
called himself Jabba in Marvel Star Wars.
That was through Matt's suggestion.
Yeah. Sure, Evan.
It was. It says if Evan's not going to weigh in on the discussion, can he at least dance in the background while the adults talk?
Well, still, someone clip that.
Yeah.
Lasso?
Gangnam Style.
Thank God you're not a dancer.
Thank God.
I would say
You know,
I
he's,
don't think I'm
he's
too
still
bad.
better than I am.
And he is in a chair. It's like, come on, if
Yeah,
you're
I
really
am
dancing, get out of the chair. Never mind, don't dance like that again. Anyway, yeah, I thought it was really interesting how it explained how Jabba's representative was actually covers like in the old Marvel Star Wars, how he had someone calling himself Jabba, but it was a different looking alien and not a Hutt,
Oh, yeah.
which I think was good and stuff like that.
I like that expanded on the Tuscan culture. I think you've already covered this, but I'm going to say it's. I liked how they weren't just mindless barbarians. That's just that I found really great. I found those parts most interesting, to be honest. The just exploring the Tuscan culture and how they think. I did think Plug Eye was a boy as well. It's like, come on, the name's Plug Eye. It's, I don't know. To me, that was a masculine name, but.
But he was slightly shorter and stockier than the other Tuscan Raiders.
What do you think about? What do you think about like how Oren Galt was deceiving everybody and how he faked that they were Tuscans from killing Tuscans. He collected their garb and everything, and how he influenced Jeb into taking his side, and then later telling Annalene that he was dead or they killed him. So let's expand on that.
Yeah,
part.
that's when I really started to hate his character for me. Like that's when it crossed the line to like, yeah, I hope this guy gets what's coming to him. Now I don't know if he got what he deserved in the end. I think it would have been better for him to have just died.
Do you think it's poetic justice in a sense because of how he was treating the Tuscan Raiders and
he would have to live like one.
Yeah.
That's poetic. That's why I'm a firm believer in poetic justice. So I like how the ending was for Oren. I think like death would have been almost too good for him at that point.
Yeah, I thought that at first, and I was like, yeah, but what if he escapes and then he's he's still unleashed upon the world with a vengeance? But
I don't think those Tuscans would let him escape.
No, I think they were going to kill him when they were done with him, weren't they?
Yeah.
They told him too. They're like, you're only going to live if we keep getting water.
Yeah.
And Tatooine's not guaranteed to give water, and they know that. So that now we just know that his time is up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it freaked me out though when he did that. Actually, I wouldn't say it scared me like poop my pants scary. Am I allowed to swear on your screen, Callum?
And other people have already anyway.
All right, yeah, it's not shit your pants scary, but it's like it's kind of like had me thinking for a good 15-20 minutes. What if the Tuscan Raiders kidnapped me and like just imagine that, like having to live like that. I think like because he's sewing his mouth together and stuff. It's I just imagined it. Creepy stuff.
And then looking at the history, because they basically adopted people in, but how they adopted them is how they can last through their torture, so how tough they could be. And so when we look at Attack of the Clones, when Shmi was kidnapped, basically they were doing that to her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, possibly. I always assumed they were torturing her under like under some kind of influence from Sidious. So they were torturing her to draw Anakin out. That was always my assumption, but I don't know if there's any facts to that.
I don't think there's anything facts of it in the original lore, and I don't know the other side of the franchise. The new owners will expand on that. But we're like, No. But yeah, and so I mean, I've heard people had that assumption or had that theory behind it, and there's nothing attached to it right now. So looking at the lore that's established, let's bring in new people, and just imagining Shmi being kidnapped and then tortured. That's how they adopt people in. And if you don't survive, then you're not in, and you're dead.
Plus, I don't think even the Tuscans would have bowed to any sort of influence from Palpatine or Darth Sidious.
Mm-hmm.
So in that instance, I would say that they most likely, like from what OG was saying, because there was like no reason, like they didn't care about money, they didn't care about anything like that, and they could have killed her just as easily as kidnapped her, in which they just kidnapped her. So it's most likely that they were trying to rebuild, in a way, their population. So they took her. She's a female. She could kind of provide in a sense. And so we want to see how strong she is. We're going to put her through this battery of tests, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what the situation she was in when Anakin found her. But of course she didn't survive because, so those we know from Attack of the Clones. But I'm looking at all like how Tuscans act and how and the whole kidnapping situation, and there's no way that they would have bowed to any sort of outside influence on them.
Yeah.
Roadcast has to go now, so you can plug yourself and then leave.
Check out my channel. This one's Roadcast Star Wars podcast. Anybody's invited on if you want to come on to have a chat with me. Callum's been on, so you can check that episode out. Then I got my other channel, Rogues Hub, which is not to be confused with the other hub on the internet. It's more for like movies and stuff and TV shows, 90s nostalgia, early 2000s nostalgia, and right now I'm doing a Simpsons series where I'm reviewing every episode of The Simpsons up until season 8 when it stops being good. So yeah, come check that out, and you can check me out on Twitter at Roadcast1. But yeah, thanks for inviting me on, Callum.
Yeah, nice to talk to you again. It's been good. Yeah. I'll see you later.
Right. See you later.
Nice meeting you.
Yeah, you too.
Nice meeting.
Take care and be well.
Yeah, cool. And guess what? We get to have Matt back in.
I'm allowed back in now.
Now you know what exile feels like.
I know. I've been living your life, Stig. It wasn't as bad as I guess it could have been because I was making all sandwiches for you all.
Oh, thank you. So what we expanded on while you were in exile listening to us. So what do you think? What's your take?
On everything or?
Just like whatever you want to talk on those areas that we expanded on while you were in exile.
While you were making us sandwiches.
Yeah, while you were in the kitchen making sandwiches.
I was in the kitchen making sandwiches in my Wonder Woman costume.
There you go.
Yeah, see, that's what you missed when you kicked me, Callum. Well, going into a little bit of the Tuscan part of it with herself and the whole idea that they torture people into their community. It did occur to me about the people that do, like the dude who came in, I forget his name, Shrek, or help me with the pronunciation. Yeah, Shrek.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not just Norwegian that I butcher.
Sure.
What the hell would be the motivation to actually do that willingly? Because
Sure.
I like making new friends, don't get me wrong. But the second they start to torture me, I'm like, no, not okay.
But it's a rite of passage.
I don't give a flying frack if it's a rite of passage. I'll show you a rite of passage, young man.
Oh, stop being such a pansy.
Me?
She's a rose. Get that straight, Stig.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm a rose. I mean, I'm allowed to be that way. Well, no, but for reals. And I guess my only thing about the whole Shmi thing, if they were wanting to bring in women for perpetuating the species, she was kind of old though for that, wasn't she? She was old to be having babies.
Yeah, because when you look in the lore with Tahiri Vela, she was a part of the Sand Raider or Tuscan Sand Raiders for a while too.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think the species wouldn't be able to interbreed because of species deviation, and that's why Sharad had to have a human mate.
You know, the problem with Shmi though isn't that she's old; it's because she's a damn Swede.
Wow.
Some people like the challenge, yes.
But the thing is, okay, so age really doesn't matter if you're a healthy person and you're in shape and stuff, and what your body is capable of.
Also, with medical science, although the Russian race wouldn't have it, but people live a lot longer in Star Wars anyway.
Yeah.
So,
Well, yes. Well, I'm just saying the Tusken Raiders probably didn't have a fertility clinic.
Unless you're
It might
McDonald's.
not have even been for like breeding purposes or anything like that. It could just have been like taking care of the young or things like that.
Yeah.
True. She could have been.
Yeah.
And stuff. Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
It was like Anakin slaughtering the whole entire village, so they wouldn't really have needed breeding at that point. It was just, I think, just they would have just needed, I guess, like I said, like someone just to take care of the young, because they do
Like nursemaids, yeah.
take care of the young sort of as a community of sorts.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the way Ayark was thinking, I wouldn't be surprised if she went, well, this Klieg Lars is causing trouble for me. Let's take his wife.
Well, why not? Yeah. Well, no, I mean, it definitely does give you a little more insight. For me, the part with all the lore that they had from the Sand People. I don't know what. I liked seeing it from their perspective, and the whole idea that anyone who can hold a whatever that stick is called, because I'm going to butcher the pronunciation. Yes, exactly. And so when it did turn out to be a woman, when Plug-Eye turned out to be a woman, I didn't really feel like it was a whammon moment.
Oh, no.
It did seem to fit in with the lore. And I do seem to recall that I had heard that expression before in one of the other expanded universes, but I cannot for the life of me remember where it was, where that expression from the Tuscans.
Yeah,
so
I don't know.
Yeah, so it did make sense. And no one is more fierce than a mama bear who's protecting her cubs and protecting her people. So it makes sense that she was who she was.
Yeah. What do you guys think about like going back to Kenobi himself? What do you think about like every single time he gets involved with the community, something happens for him to take action? So let's expand on that, because there's every part of the book, every little chapter, or not every little chapter, but every part of the book, something happens to where even Oren Goat says, whenever Kenobi's around, something happens. Why is that? So if you guys want to expand a little bit on that.
Stand users are naturally attracted to other stand users.
Well, I almost want to look at it a little bit from a mystical point of view, which is hinted in it, that because it was meant to be. I think that everything that happened with Obi-Wan was the will of the Force, and he had to go through those experiences
to go,
reach the point where he was at the end of the book.
Yeah, it was kind of like a way of like letting go and learning how to help people out, not as a Jedi, and not take action as a Jedi, but help people otherwise. That's what I got from it.
Yeah, I got that too.
Well, I think like also is like, I'd like to expand on that, where it goes into that theme of conflict where man versus himself, where he's coming to terms with the fact that he's not a Jedi anymore. Like not officially, he does have the heart and the mind of a Jedi, but it's a time when, like, if he were to pull out, like, in A New Hope, he'd withdraw with he pulls out his lightsaber and is not worried about anything in the cantina at that point, but it's 19 years later. Here, where he's in a situation where it's right after Order 66. So if I take out my lightsaber and let people know there's a Jedi on the loose, I now have not only endangering myself, but I'm endangering those around me.
Yeah, and even when he knows Isley, sorry, Stig, I'm going to finish this and you can go. Geez, I'm all bullied. I'm starting this and you can wait. Okay.
Wow.
Even when he goes to, I know, I'm sorry. Even when he goes to Mos Eisley with Annalene when she goes to pick up a new speeder and stuff, and he's at that that pub or that eatery with her, and they're like on a balcony in a sense, and he sees the stormtroopers, but basically he goes, he remembers them as clones, but then he notices that they have their uniform, their armor is changing. And so, and then he starts putting himself in the hood and sinking in so he's not noticed.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, Stig.
Mandalore the Mental says he felt that verbal lashing I took.
Yeah. Also, just quickly, Jacob asked how long it was when afterwards. Well, it just so happens I can share my screen and I can show my timeline.
Wow.
And we have Last of the Jedi about a year after Kenobi.
Yeah.
Approximately. So there's 19 BBY up there and then down here too.
That has to be a lot of work.
But I think it'll be mid 18 BBY more because of he ends up helping out a little bit after, like, it's not the first couple and then stuff happens in between. So we've got that there. Why is that popping up anyway? Yeah. There we go. Type for my timeline. You can use the bot command !timeline for Nightbot to give you the link.
Comes with
what?
It comes with my Clone Wars timeline on it.
Yeah, I haven't helped with the Clone Wars section because
that was my
don't
section.
I have something to chime in though.
Sure.
I was going to say it before I was rudely interrupted, but when Kenobi pulls his lightsaber in A New Hope, it's because it doesn't matter anymore. The moment has come. Luke is about to go to Alderaan and stuff is happening, so he doesn't need to hide anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Then he croaks a few days later. But
Yeah. Well, that makes
I
perfect
can't
sense.
feel like I gave another verbal tongue lashing by saying I said that when I meant and that when he would hold out his lightsaber in OT, like he's not afraid to do so at that point.
Yeah, Stig, pay attention.
Yeah, this really isn't my week. Being attacked.
We love you, Stig. We love you, Stig.
Well,
it comes from a place of love, doesn't it?
So let's go towards the end now. So we get that we get that Orangol is betraying everybody, and Annalisa basically finds out the truth after she thought that her son was dead, and basically Kenobi comes and tells him the truth and stuff. And what's crazy is that we do have her in his robe, laying in her bed in his robe, which I kind of felt was like kind of weird for me. But then I get that she had a crush on him, so maybe that makes sense. I don't know. But and then so she finds the truth out about Oren Gold and what he's really doing, and that Kenobi is uncovering everything. And then prior to that evening, he goes out and announces to the community that Kenobi basically is betraying everybody, that he's the one that's causing all the problems. Yeah, and then that leads up towards coming towards the end, and to where they go out to the Tusken hideouts where they meet the dragons, where the Krayt dragons were, the Jabba's lynchmen start coming out after, and how Annalene had got a hold of them and saying, you know what, it's Oren that's betraying you guys, and this is where he's at. So let's start wrapping up, going to the scenes. Anybody?
You just distracted me with the idea of sleeping with Obi-Wan's cloak. Sorry. You say that's creepy. I say that is a very nice evening.
I wouldn't say creepy, but I mean, I don't know, because one thing that I forgot to talk about, or I forgot to mention, is that when her friend Lily is sending off packages, Annalene basically labels it for her, and she puts Kenobi system, which basically that package is going to, it's for or the package of contents of it is fertility, pottery, or art, or whatever.
Yeah, that was a fun joke.
Yeah.
And I like how they put a Zeltron in there just for the fun jokes.
Yes, she was a hit. I loved her. She was a hit in that. So yeah,
Everyone needs a Lily.
everybody.
Everyone needs a Zeltron at least once.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I'd settle for 5 of them.
Hey, if you go to
Settle,
Zeltros,
wait, hold on.
you want?
Settle for 5.
Yeah.
Like that would be like such a chore for you, Steve.
No, I would have no chores because would have had 5 Lilies to do all my chores.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Wow.
Alrighty then. Okay, so let's go to
Like back to a book titled Kenobi.
We're going
by
to
Jackson Miller and released in 2013.
Talking fertility, talking.
and Kenobi's robe and Zeltrons and how many and
Yeah. Hey,
I
we're all
actually-
quarantined. This is dangerous talk.
We had these discussions.
I actually do have a robe,
oh, okay.
Oh, that's
purple one.
Cal, don't you have an Obi-Wan robe?
Yeah,
That's what I
Oh,
thought.
got a
It's not
picture a
with-
while ago. that I was Comic-Con.
It's not with you, is it?
It is upstairs.
in his bed.
I
And
thought
I
that,
sleep right
honestly,
next to it.
you know what? When I look at Cal, I think that sofa behind him is his bed. I as a college student, Cal is a college student, so when I think of this, I just feel like just has this one room and then a kitchen in like the open. So I don't think that he has like two stories.
2 bedrooms.
Who, Kenobi?
Even though the spare one isn't.
No, Cal.
No, me.
Oh,
no,
no,
I got. I
wasn't
went to
paying
the.
attention. I'm like, we're talking Kenobi. Who
I
Kenobi?
went to
kind
the
of
Salvos and got a bed frame for $50. That was pretty good.
How rich are you, Cal? That you have.
It's actually one of the cheaper places here for living.
And you're in Sydney, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's
Wait,
cheaper
hold on.
to be in a rental town. Anyway,
Oh,
Can I-
Jacob Ayers says Stig wears his Jedi robes with fuzzy slippers. It's true.
He wears,
And it just
he
feel like
wears
Taco.
Obi-Wan's robes with Peter Cushing's slippers.
yeah.
I
That's what he does.
actually do have fuzzy slippers.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
no judgment here.
No, they comfy.
You do you. You do you.
And
just-
dude, you live in Norway. It's freezing up there. You need them. You need fuzzy stuff.
I just need a cell phone to put them on.
Mm-mm.
All right, so let's go to
Go
the
on.
scene where they are Kenobi basically makes a deal with Ayark about getting or giving Orin to her and into the fight scenes that lead up to the crate dragon scene and Obi-Wan getting discovered.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I mean, if you guys want to expand on that or what you think about that scene or anything in general.
As I told Ryan, I didn't get to I was a couple chapters off from the ending, so I didn't get to that part, so I can't rein in on this part. So I'll leave it up to them.
Okay, hold on. We started this stream like at 8 o'clock, and you put yourself off camera for how long on mute? You could have finished
I
those.
was gone for what, like 5 minutes?
Bam! You're reading.
Yeah.
No, OG, I liked that end scene. I thought it was a little bit hokey, though, how they used the whole way they led up to it, where Obi-Wan is telling the Sand Plug Guy lady, "Oh, I've got a plan," and then next chapter, "Oh, that's a great plan, Obi-Wan. Let's do this." It was a little bit cheesy that way, but
Yeah.
I really liked it. I thought it kicked ass when Obi-Wan obviously was using the Force and taking those big old stone pillars and just dropping them down. That was excellent.
Oh, and then what was crazy is he realized he was using the Force to do that, and then he realized that some stones were getting knocked down, and he's like, "I didn't do that."
Yeah.
Mhm.
And you're like, "What?" And and then that's where we lead up to the crate. And what I thought was interesting is the fact that how he was talking with Ayark or Plug Eye, and she was making a deal with him, and she goes, "You could be one of us," and blah blah blah. So he basically says, "If I give you Orin, and if I do, then I don't have to keep this deal and become a Tusken Raider." And I thought that was really interesting because when you look at the OT and the New Hope and stuff, he because they know who he is because of Al Sharad Het and being a Jedi and lightsabers and all that, you kind of understand why they are afraid of him. That's what I get.
Mm-hmm.
So if you guys see the same thing or not, I don't know, but yeah, that's what I get. And I like how he finally gets to use the Force, but then we get the Crate Dragon, and of course he goes full Jedi because he was like, I need to save these people, I need to save the Tuskens, I need to save these people here, and he goes full Jedi, ignites his lightsaber without thinking and not realizing that he's going to be discovered and found. So,
and I think he pretty much thought he was going to be found, but he's like, "This is the only way I can do this."
Mm-hmm.
Actually, a part of that scene was like after he was done and he's looking down at his lightsaber and he realized that Orin's like, "You're a Jedi," and it describes in the book like he's like, "Oh shit, what did I do?"
Oh yeah, he's pretty much was thinking, "I just need to help these people," and then afterwards he's like, "Well, that happened."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
You can't turn off the Jedi.
Yeah.
You can leave the Jedi, but the Jedi doesn't leave you.
No.
Yeah, it's
What
pretty convenient that the Sand people killed him off after that, so he couldn't tell.
What happens if the Jedi stays in the Jedi?
Mm-hmm.
With this cloak, yeah.
That's taken so many ways.
Oh, shall we go?
Yeah,
around
we
and
don't
do,
really
like-
need to worry about Orin saying anything.
Yeah, they don't have to worry after he's.
Sorry, I can't talk right now.
That's okay. Which,
Well,
I think we can
Well,
start-
we don't have to worry about him saying anything. We don't have to worry about Orin saying anything because the same people made sure of that.
Oh, for
Yeah.
sure. Yes. That's what I was saying. It was very nice and convenient that they took care of the problem.
Yeah.
And it was pretty pathetic at
Mhm.
the end. When I guess he's only just crying underneath his bandages, and they're saying that he's probably not going to live much longer. He's going to lose the will to live.
Yeah, and he has a non-disclosure agreement.
yeah.
Okay, so let's so now that we get past that scene and stuff and like everything's done, and we have, basically, Orin's kids, the Vika and what's the other guy's name? Vika and her
Mother?
brother. Yeah, the brother basically gets eaten right in front of his dad.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I was like, holy shit, that's brutal. And he still was like so enraged and wanting to kill Obi-Wan because he doesn't want to be discovered, that he didn't even take the time to think, oh shit, my son, and he is because he was so focused on the anger. And that's what Obi-Wan was telling him. If you don't turn back now, he warned him, if you don't turn back now, then you're going to fall to your fate. You can change if you decide to walk away from it now.
Mm.
And he
Yeah, it's
doesn't.
like a self-fulfilling prophecy almost.
Mhm.
Yep.
For sure.
Yeah.
And Obi-Wan just couldn't resist trying to save again. The way he already saw a little bit of what had happened with Anakin, and he's like, well, maybe I can talk this dude into it. And of course, once again, the dude just sucks and goes, no, I'm going to be evil.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the little boy, he did have a chance, and that was kind of moving. I forget his name, Jabe. At
Jabe.
the end, he was like,
Jabe.
really ashamed of what he did, but Obi-Wan's like, it's not too late, and he gave him a new life.
There's
So,
still good in him, yeah.
there
I
is
like how
still,
it shows that redeeming quality as well we see in the original trilogy.
yes.
Mhm.
Never
Yeah.
give up hope.
Cool. But yeah. Oh, well, do we want to go around and start wrapping up and just say final thoughts on the book and sort of we were doing ratings in previous book clubs, so we'll try and do that again.
Okay.
Just general ratings. So as far as my screen, shall we start going clockwise? So Evan, you can start, and then Stu.
No. That wouldn't be gentlemanlike. Ladies first.
Okay, go counterclockwise. Teresa can start. Teresa can...
Aw. Well, thank you. Such a charmer. Well, I gave it an 8 out of 10. I really, really loved it. As I said earlier, it was a lovely book. I enjoyed reading it. I took my time with it, and it was a lot of fun. It was different. It was well paced and a fascinating character study. So 8 out of 10 for sure.
Nice. Mara?
Okay. I would give it roughly the same score, 8 to 8.5 out of 10. I like I said earlier, this if they were to do a Kenobi standalone film, this could have been the perfect blueprint because it is very character driven. There is some action, but it doesn't take away from the internal conflict you see Obi-Wan going through. So, and you could have expanded upon how he learned to become a Force ghost because he is meditating and speaking to Qui-Gon Jinn's Force ghost and things like that. As well as introducing actually good characters and actual strong female characters that is not at the not where it basically negatively impacts Obi-Wan's character developments. So he himself is not affected by the other characters. They each in a way connect and kind of elevate each other in a way. So but I figure like if it were to be a standalone film now, they would find a way to somehow add toxic white male to his character in some way. That's why I don't normally would have been for this to be a film, but not now.
I mean, don't forget the Kenobi series is coming out on Disney Plus.
I did forget about that.
I'm not looking forward to that. I don't trust them at all. Well, and Kenobi deserved a standalone film, not like a series relegated to a streaming service.
Well, it's completely pointless now because Kenobi's looking after a kid that in Disney canon didn't even matter because it was all about Rey Palpatine.
Yeah.
So Kenobi is completely pointless in Disney canon.
Yeah. So I'm not looking forward to it at all. I mean, I have the Disney Plus streaming service for free through Verizon, but once the year is up in November timeframe, done.
Mara, you should at least watch the original trilogy on it. It looks fantastic. I recommend it to anyone really who has a service because it just looks good.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. I should download those.
Of course.
I'm not paying for Disney Plus.
It's only $8.
Yeah, but that's $8 that I wouldn't use.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because those $8 could pay for a meal at a Disney production. So no.
Well.
Because I might watch the Star Wars original trilogy, but they
my
don't
way
have
of
the
thinking is
micro series, and they don't have the holiday special and everything. So I was like, well, I wouldn't.
The way I think of everything though is like they're already getting tons of money from this. $8 is not going to fucking matter to the millions of other people buying the service. I'm not going to be able to stop the machine. So.
I just think it'll be wasted money for me because I won't watch it enough.
Yeah, that's the thing where it's like it's not so much like not real necessarily willing to spend the $8 or whatever it is per month, but I barely use it as it is, and when I do, I'm watching like classic Disney films, which I know I can I'd rather just buy those DVDs and not pay for a streaming.
I still need to watch The Black Cauldron.
So
$8 is a lot, though. You can buy a Zeltron for that.
So. God damn.
One of those cheap and nasty Zeltrons. Yeah.
Oh God! All right. Is it my turn or?
No, it's not. I told you.
Sorry.
Still a Mario.
All right.
Well, I'm done. So.
You're done. Go to Star Wars then.
All right, I'm going to read out this very last part of the book, and then I'll tell you guys where to find me. So I know where I am now. I am in the rain shadow, being near all the big events in the galaxy. I was on the mountain for many years. Now I'm on the back, on the lee side. It's supposed to be dry here. but I'll leave the shadow one day. I've been keeping watch tonight over the Lars farmhouse. I'm looking to see something else. Up there, over the horizon, I think that must have been the passenger ship. Stars don't disappear. They are safe above. Luke is safe below. And I will be okay. It's a long way back to the house, Qui-Gon. May the Force be with you. It's time for me to go home. All right. So this is a great book. If you guys have a chance, and they should friggin' sponsor my channel because I'm always saying listen to the Audible. Pick up the Audible because it has all the great Star Wars sound effects. You have the voiceovers from I don't know who's the one that does the narrations, but he sounds just like Obi-Wan. It's amazing.
Jonathan Davis. He did the Darth Bane audiobook as well.
Yeah. And so I highly recommend it. Yeah, it's not going to have the action pack that you see like Jedi versus Sith or conflict or war, because this is just a reflection. This is all about Obi-Wan settling into a new life to protect Luke. And I highly recommend it, especially if you love Obi-Wan Kenobi and want to know what he was doing when he got onto Tatooine and how he transitioned and how he coped. Very good book. We are at Tatooine, which is basically a Western or, Outer Rim. Basically, we'll talk Star Wars for Outer Rim, where the laws are very different than when you go towards the core. And so I highly recommend it. It's a 9 out of 10 for me, but it's always been a book that I love to go back to and read. I like cultural stuff as well. That's why I like the Tusken Raiders and like to expand on them some more. And that's probably why I like the book as well. And so that's my take on that. You guys can find me on YouTube, OG Star Wars, Twitter, OG Star Wars AB. And I do Tuesday lore videos, and I do coffee chats Thursday morning. And right now we're on the Han Solo trilogy, the Hutt's Gambit. And so you guys check my channel. And thank you so much for having me here. I appreciate it.
Oh, cool. Since you plugged yourself, I'll put your link in there.
Okay.
That's cool. And this stream is not sponsored by Audible.
We need to get that Audible sponsorship. Damn it!
I know. I'm always shouting them out. Shit. No.
It's like it's a little bit of a running joke. Each video you're like, sponsor Audible, but I'm not sponsored. Sponsor me.
Yeah.
All right, Stig, what do you think of the book?
Damn good. One of my favorite Star Wars books. Like Ryan said earlier, it's different than probably all of the other Star Wars books, and that's a good thing, really, because it sets it apart and it's written incredibly well. And I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. It achieves exactly what it sets out to do. Sure, it's probably not as good as the Legacy of the Force books and all that, but I can't judge this book against those because it's a different book.
It's a different story. It's telling, yeah.
Yeah, so I have to judge it on what it's trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, 9 out of 10. And especially since there's a Zeltron in it. That brings it up a lot. I wish it would have had 5, but
those were the best comics in the original Marvel run.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
Also, the Celtron was wearing too much clothes. It was silly.
Here we go.
It is Tatooine. You want to keep your skin
Come on,
moist.
it's the Baywatch of Star Wars. Come on.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Yeah. There are so many times in that book where she could have been running across the sand dunes in slow motion in a bikini, but they didn't do it. Wasted potential.
Really?
Whoever is reading this book while experiencing puberty is going to be disappointed.
Oh, here we
So
go.
does that take it down from a 9 out of 10 for you? Then?
No, I've mellowed in my older years.
That's mellow. That's mellow for you. God damn. Thank you.
All right, Evan, what's
We're
your?
speechless.
Mine so far, this is just rough right now. Mine so far, I'm gonna give this one a 6 out of 10. I'm not really that thrilled with this one, to be honest with you. I feel like maybe to add more depth to it is skip along a couple years, kind of like how Plagueis did. And not focus on one big whole adventure and problem, but kind of like smaller issues every couple years throughout the Jumlin Waste or whatever. I would have liked that probably a little bit more than what I've read, but I don't know. I just find it's readable, but I think that it drones on in a couple of areas, and it could be cut down. But that's just my opinion. My thoughts on it.
Yeah, cool. Awesome.
What about yours?
Yeah.
What about yours, Cal?
How to summarize my thoughts? That's a good question. I think I'd say that it's definitely a lot slower and a different change of pace compared to other books, especially like the X-Wing books that I'm currently reading. But I think it's a nice change of pace in that way. Although I think that there wasn't too much they could do. They found a good story without time jumping, because if you have to time jump, it gets a bit weird sometimes with where exactly you jump to and what exactly happens in each. But I think as well the addition of other characters and not just Kenobi helped flesh it out a bit more. But I do agree that it's a bit slower, and the first time I read it, it wasn't as bad this time around. It just felt quite slow to start anything properly. And so I think I'd probably say about a 7 or a 7.5. And some of the extra bits and pieces are a bit like, even though the Crate Dragon fight has more impact, I think that in contrast to how he's trying to do everything throughout to hide himself, it's like maybe a bit over the top. Mm-hmm. Instead of just going, okay, I'll use the Force to help augment myself and save everyone from the Crate Dragon, he's like, no, I'll kill it.
Well, sometimes in life you have to kill a Crate Dragon.
I guess he's gone through he's a warrior according to the Tusken Raider tradition now as well. Mm-hmm. But I do like the additions to the lore with the Tusken Raiders. I like the connections in it. I just think at the end of the day, with a story you go, when you read it, at the end of the day, I think it's a story that needed to be told. And I'm like, I mean, we sort of know that he goes into exile and everything as well, and it's good to tell the aftermath of that a bit, but the rest of it is like, I don't know. It doesn't really have a lasting impact, it doesn't seem. Might have been different if we had some more novels later on, some more stuff to do, but yeah. You can't expand too much on Kenobi in Exile, that's true. It makes sense why
a great companion read to this, because they happen basically parallel each other in the same timeline, is Darth Lore, The Rise of Darth Vader. So read that. That also, and then read.
Why are we suggesting new canon books on an EU book club?
Huh?
Why are we suggesting new canon books on an EU book club?
That isn't new canon, you idiot.
No, right?
I was thinking of more than this.
That's new canon.
Jesus Christ!
Why is my brain a big thing?
Oh my God!
That one is a big.
For the love of
I just failed the
let's all
check.
pick on the poor guy.
I'll just head out now. Bye.
No, Callum's good. Oh, no, take control. I was
now
just kidding.
taking control.
Hello, how are you guys doing?
Welcome to EU Book Club with Miss Martin.
Yes.
But yeah, if you're reading Dark Lord, The Rise of Darth Vader, then you should read Labyrinth of Evil and Revenge of the Sith, and it's like the Dark Lord trilogy.
Yeah.
Which book are we doing next? Is it
Outbound Flight?
It was apparently decided in the stream that I wasn't in, but it's Outbound Flight next.
Okay.
So,
that's another good
that'll
one.
be good.
That's another very good one. It
And
is
then I think
Ron in his prime.
Yeah.
And I think what we're going to do is chuck a poll up on Twitter for after that. I'll do that sometime and not
I
too
do
long.
want to do was it Survivor's Quest, since that's kind of like they kind of go together in a sense, even though the time frame is much further away, because we have Luke and Mara going to explore the outbound flight.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
I love
I
Survivor.
think it'd be good for people reading these for the first time and reading along and not having read things before. It might be good to go a little bit like build up to it. But if you guys want to vote on it, and then we'll see. We'll put Survivor's Quest as one of them on.
Standalone books are probably the way to go, though.
Yeah, I was thinking Jedi Academy because we did the Thrawn trilogy, and then that's a good lead on from that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Okay.
we'll see how we go. I'll chuck the poll up. People can put suggestions in as well.
Okay, and to clarify for certain, the one for next month will be outbound flights.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I think we'll have a talk. We might try and do it every 3 weeks, but at the moment we're saying 4 weeks because of timing, and it was always postponed. So I was like, well, let's make it
before.
monthly.
Hey, Cal. Last one I believe was 3 weeks ago. I don't think it was 4 weeks ago.
It was postponed an extra week, so I couldn't make it. It was 4 weeks.
I thought it was like every 2 weeks.
It was every 3 weeks. I was thinking, I put it in my calendar, so I knew.
Your calendar.
And then when it was postponed, I had to change
calendar.
it. Yeah.
You know, if it's a thick book, we could do 4 weeks. But if it's a thin one, we could do 3. Because the
even
Jedi
junior novels, if we're reading Jedi Apprentice or something like that, we could do that every 2 weeks.
Oh well, never mind.
Like if we do book by book.
We'll just say it's right now 3
But at the
weeks.
moment, it's monthly, and we'll update people if there's any changes.
Yeah, right now let's just go on 3 week schedule and just follow us on Twitter. Ryan, me, or Cal usually will put out something though. So
if there's any news, I'll retweet it from someone else.
So just expect it to be.
That'd be good.
So,
I'm gonna say a month, and then we'll see how it
should
goes.
be May 16th should be the day.
That would be 17th for me, which is my national day.
Oh, well, it's my day too, because Norway is going to be celebrating me that day.
Hold on.
May 17 is that's a Sunday. So if we're doing it on Saturday, it would be the 16th.
I mean, it's Sunday here for me.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh, so it's 17 for the Aussies and 16 for all of us elsewhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Because we're in the future.
That is true. No, we're in the past. They're in the future.
No, Stig is like right in between the future and the past, pretty much.
That is true. Oh yeah, you're right. He's in the future for months.
This is why I'm so balanced. Completely zen.
Oh, Lord.
Holy moly.
Yes.
There we go. Yeah, it's 17 for me.
It's completely true, though. I never laugh and I never get angry.
Yeah.
I'm completely.
Yeah, like you say, Outbound Flight is the next read. We'll probably tweet out. I'll put a link to this stream archive. I don't know why my background went so bright. It's probably natural lighting because I've got a thing right there. But
It's
it's
another good one in a way because since we started with the Thrawn trilogy and the reintroduction of Joris Kabouth, I mean that's how you pronounce his last name.
Yeah.
You see him in this book.
Kabouth or Sabaoth, one of them.
Yeah, but you see him in this book, like the actual Jedi.
The original, not the clone.
Yeah,
which is pretty cool.
Don't we get Cardass in this book too as well? George Cardass.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I remember. Skanky Zeltrons will keep you balanced.
Well, to be fair, 5 Zeltrons it doesn't add up. I need 6 for balance.
Or 4.
Yeah, no, 6.
6, okay.
Greedy there. Greed's not a Jedi way.
It's not greedy. I have to feed them.
He never said he's a Jedi.
I have to feed them pork chops.
Save some Zeltrons for everyone. Well, go to Zeltros, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
You can't go less. You can't go. But anyway, yeah, that will probably be it for the book club stream now. We're just almost hitting 2 hours. Just a minute to go. So, you guys want to plug yourselves and then?
Nah, I want to plug the Celtrons. Just thinking.
Oh, you wanted to plow the Celtrons, not plug them.
No.
Same difference at that point.
Oh, dear me.
I've got no problem plugging myself. I am Miss Martin Music. Anyway, that sounded wrong.
Good luck getting Amazon. Good luck getting Amazon to send you necessary equipment for that to happen, Teresa.
Okay, you all know about that stuff. I do not. Okay, all right. I'm the innocent one.
Because your name is.
Yeah.
Yes,
Things that make you go.
Wow.
Somebody disliked our video. What the heck?
Don't worry about
Haters gonna hate.
Haters gonna hate. Absolutely. Well, I'm Miss Martin Muses on Twitter.
It changed. We called you out. We called someone out here. Who was it? Come clean.
Evan, hush.
Hush.
Oh, you're gonna make. I think I said an F word. Oh gosh. Well, I said it in the Irish inflection.
Yeah.
EH. Let me get out of it. Miss Martin fecking Muses. Okay, Miss Martin Muses. On Twitter, no, on YouTube. Please come see me. I'm actually a much nicer person on my channel, where I muse about anything that comes to mind. I have a show that comes on at 5 p.m. The Corona Diaries every day, where you might see a lot of the lovely people you see here sometimes coming in and out. And also, I Monday through Thursday have a midnight show, Quarantined Minds.
So, what times are those? Like, what time zone are you in when you're talking about?
Oh, pardon me. I'm in Central Time Zone. That's
for everyone.
Okay.
Looking it up. Cool.
Should be now. Me. I'm on the East Coast.
Correct. Thank you.
No, Mara Jade. I guess we'll go counterclockwise again.
All right. I go by Mara Jade, but my YouTube channel is Jade Shadow. I'm also on Twitter under OG Mara Jade, which is trying to do a balance of where you can find me both on YouTube and Twitter, but primarily my presence is on Twitter. I seem to draw the ire of people. I don't know why. I'm generally angelic and minding my own business, and but you can find me there. My YouTube channel. I do talk. Might get back into talking about Star Wars. I don't know. I'm trying to find actual talking about topics where I'm happy about talking about them. So I don't. That's why I've been avoiding talking about Disney Star Wars recently. I've been focusing more. Yes. Focus on kind of like talking about DC pop culture, social commentary, movie news, things like that for the time being. But we'll see where my channel goes. Once my internet is improved, I'm thinking about adding gaming streams to it. Maybe go on Twitch. I don't know. I mean, we'll see how that happens.
I found Twitch good as an alternative. If people have trouble with the YouTube end, they can go over to Twitch. I'm multi-streaming, so I have the options.
I might do that just to have the option. So if I have issues with YouTube, then just, basically become a Twitch thought at that point.
Oh.
There we go.
There you go. That's why you live up to your name, Teresa.
And then Lethal will be looking forward to that.
Food for thought.
There you go.
Twitch also started watch parties. That's cool.
That'd be cool.
All right, cool.
Do I really need to plug myself, since literally you can just search YouTube under...
I mean, his name...
Here,
the link to his channel.
my Twitter right here. If you haven't, please follow and subscribe to me, of course.
Even though he doesn't make content very often.
Shut the hell up, Cal. It's called I Need Another Hard Drive and Better Video Editing Software.
Well, get it.
That's what she said.
I don't bother with video. I don't bother with video editing. I just give my raw thoughts and post a video and be like, I hope you enjoy. This is it, pretty much.
Yeah, mainly you just cut it, don't you? Just in case this goes over. Yeah. I edit because it's fun. Of course, I'm studying film and TV, so I can do that.
Mm-hmm.
OG Star Wars, want to plug yourself again?
All right, yes, because that was just like normal for me to do like when I did it. But yeah, so hello, you guys. I'm OG Star Wars, your Legends girl, trying to make it in this discanon world. And my specialty is bringing the EU, our original lore, our George Lucas era lore to you guys. Again, Tuesday lore. Sometimes I'll do random lore post or videos outside of Tuesday lore. And then we also touch bases and discuss it on Thursday morning coffee chat. So please come and join, like, subscribe, share. You can follow me on Twitter as well under the same name, OG Star Wars AB. And again, thank you so much for having me here. I love sharing the lore, and this is like something close to my heart. Thank you so much.
Yeah. It's awesome talking about it, isn't it? I love it.
Yes.
I love the chats. Now, Stig, did you want to plug yourself just on Twitter?
Well, I do have a channel. I put up. Yeah, it's over an hour of retro stuff on it now.
Oh, I didn't realize you did that. So hang on, got to look for it now.
Yeah, tiny channel, just called Stig Kenobi. I'm not conceited enough to come up with a fancy name like others.
Oh, wow, New Year's tradition for me.
And yeah, retro stuff and some silly videos. I just have it to have something on the channel. I'm not a YouTuber,
Cool.
but I do pop on other channels. Most of the channels of the people in here, actually. Yeah, it's actually I get to talk about the Corona on Teresa's channel. I talk about DC on Mars channel and Star Wars on OG Star Wars channel. So
nice.
Yeah, it's like having 3 Celtrons, really.
That's not enough, is it? You're only halfway there.
Yeah. Well, you need 3 more. I need one for Game of Thrones and one for Tolkien and I don't know.
One for anime.
No. The Witcher.
The Witcher.
Oh yeah, that's one thing. Yeah,
That's another thing. I've been playing Witcher 3 recently, so I might play a bit more tomorrow.
Yeah, and you and I need to have that talk about the Witcher.
I'm not that far into the game.
That's not my problem.
You gotta have the talk.
Yeah, I was thinking, you said the talk. I'm like, oh, what are we missing?
yeah, I know. Like,
Actually,
Trust me, I don't need to brush up on that talk. You just
I got stuck in. I just got into the city in the first game, and then I just stopped playing it because I was distracted, and then I haven't gone back to it. So interesting.
I'm liking it so far. Right now, I'm in the wandering in the dark part of the mission where I'm trying to track down Siri, and I know as soon as I jump back on, I'm gonna die again because I'm at a part where like I just completely messed up.
Yeah, that was me at the end of.
If only we'd had
I did not build my character correctly.
It was my own actually stupid fault because I wasn't paying attention to something. So
yeah,
you should be mindful of your surroundings, Laura.
But you must think of the future, but not at the expense of the moment.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to say what plans you have, Evan? Since his link's in the description below, but you can have a look.
Right now, I am working on getting a hard drive to make more videos because literally I am out of hard drive space. And so that's one of the major reasons why I haven't put anything out.
Mm-hmm.
So
you could do streams.
I do have some things. I am streaming though. I am doing some streaming over on twitch.tv/HolocronKeeperEvan. I am doing that. And then what else is going on? I have a few scripts in the works for videos as soon as I get a new hard drive in, which will be whenever I get paid next. Is that it?
We're not live. I'll put you
silent.
So for me, I have regular EE content going Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And I'm doing my weekly Swordle stream. I just decided on that proper day will be Saturdays. So last night I did my Swordle stream and finished the Bounty Hunter storyline. So I'll be starting a smuggler soon. I was going to stop procrastinating, do the big video that I was working on before, and then college went online, and so I was procrastinating about it. But I better finish that. And yeah, I do other gaming streams as well. I just finished the Final Fantasy VII remake the other day, so that's been interesting. So yeah,
How's the Jedi Knight 2 coming along?
Jedi Outcast is going well. I'm going to record more of it today.
Groovy.
Yeah, I'll just because I've got the rest of the day ahead of me. I'm like, may as well do something productive. So yeah, thank you all for coming and joining in. It's been good fun. I love talking about the EU, and we'll see you in the next video or stream.
Okay. Thank you.